Let's move to the next issue, security.
Yes.
The assessment of the security situation in the year 2020, having in mind the last, having in mind the last that happened with the Kankara schoolboys. While some were celebrating the government for their effort, their quick intervention, others will say, well, you've tried, but the security situation generally is not encouraging. That's your take, sir.
My take is that my take is that our record on security is the most dismal probably in the entire world today. It's the biggest shame ever since Nigeria's independence that a country of 200 million people cannot defend itself. We hear government officials, including the Minister for Information and other special advisors to the president, come to tell us that our country is being invaded by people from outside Nigeria. And a 200 million population country cannot defend itself from herders, or in quote, herders that are coming from other Sahel countries into Nigeria. What in the world are we talking about? This is the same country that is called the giant of Africa, that has gone to Somalia, has gone to Congo, has gone to Liberia, has gone to Sierra Leone, has gone to Ivory Coast and proved its mettle anywhere in the world for peacekeeping and peace enforcement. And yet in our nation, we are unable to deal with terrorism and insecurity. First of all, let's start from the beginning. What happened? We saw a group like Boko Haram come in. They stated their agenda. They stated where they are going. They said, we are going to take over. We want to stop Nigeria. We do not subscribe to Nigeria as a government, as a state, as it is. We are going to form our own caliphate. We're going to take over the nation, which is treasonable. They went on ahead to kill and to maim, to invade, to decimate, and to occupy for the past 10 years. You know, it is instructive that the combined might of ISWAP and Boko Haram is just about 6,500 men. Put that in context of 200 million people. Then you begin to ask some more serious questions. And of course, I've asked in the past. I went to do the research and find out. So first of all, what is the strength of the Nigerian armed forces? And I found out that the combined strength of the Nigerian armed forces, Air Force, Navy, and Army put together is 70,000 men. How on earth can 70,000 people protect 200 million Nigerians? There's a basic blunder and joke in the security architecture. First of all, it is impossible. It can't hold Nigeria as big as it is. The entire 70,000, if you remember, by January 2020, the president ordered all of the armed forces to move to the northeast. Why? Because like they said, they are overstretched. They keep repeating this indicting statement that the Nigerian military is overstretched. 200 million Nigerian people, population. You are telling us it's overstretched when you have just 70,000 men to protect 200 million? What is the matter with us? If the president was not a former soldier, I would say he has no sense of military thought. But the man, for goodness sake, is a retired general. So what you and I as civilians can talk about, this is not rocket science. So if you have that situation, Nigeria, you know, by our population, cannot have less than 500,000 to at least 2 million soldiers, like Egypt does. Egypt has 2 million soldiers. Egypt is less than half of Nigeria's population. It has 2 million soldiers. Nigeria, with 200 million people, has 70,000 men. It's a joke. We're not serious about protecting our people at all. So when you now have practically the entire soldiers moved to the northeast in a time in the last 3 years since 2017 when 36 states of Nigeria have come under attack of terrorists, whatever name we give them, Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, ISWAP, bandits, kidnappers, all the same thing. We're just giving them names because of political correctness. But the country is being terrorized and we don't have a structure in place. We get back again to that word, structure and vehicle. We have no structure. Why? Because I don't think that the federal government has really decided not a single Nigeria again will be killed by terrorists. I give an example. April 2013, 2 guys attacked the Boston Marathon. In 48 hours, 6,000 guards were released. And in 48 hours, those 2 boys that bombed the Boston Marathon were apprehended and neutralized. America sent a lesson. If you kill an American, we will come after you. It's the value of life that has been lost in Nigeria. That a lot of statements, without apologies, they are very silly statements by a lot of our so-called rulers and leaders, making remarks that are an insult to our intelligence. How can you tell Nigerians that the army is overstretched? There are 200 million Nigerians. There is no engagement of people, no deployment of troops that is not possible. There are many nations in Africa that wish they had 1/4 our population. Lagos alone has 20 million people. There is no country in the whole of West Africa that has that. One city, Lagos, has 20 million people. So we have need of people to defend the country. The only reason I can think is that we are not serious about defending this country because the people to defend it are here. Educated people are here. Professors, experts, specialists, professionals. This is the most endowed country in the whole world per square meter. You go to the US, the proportion of Nigerian graduates in the US is higher than the average American proportion of graduates. So Nigerians are practically the most educated people in the world. Yet back at home, we lead the world in illiteracy. Places like Yobe State and so forth, having 93% illiteracy, for goodness sake, something is deeply wrong. So when you look at our security architecture, it is faulty because I think for the first part, a decision has not been made that no more terrorism in Nigeria and not a single Nigeria again will be killed by terrorists. The day our leaders, whether the executive, the legislature, would come to that decision that not a single Nigerian again must be killed, that day we will find a way to do it. This country didn't start today. It has remained at the top. The capacity of Nigerian soldiers is not in question. Even our policemen, once a so-called big man's child has been traumatized or taken or killed, in less than 1 week they find who the killers are. But you see, like the Chibok girls, they are still right now in detention by Boko Haram. You talk about the Kankara people. I don't know. I feel insulted many times when I see those kind of things happen. So we don't know exactly who took those boys, but we are told over 400 boys were taken. Some other information says it might even be more than that. But the president was in that state. That's a slap in the face to the president and to Nigerians. That after you came in your state, we remove probably 500,000 boys. How do you move 500 people? Then it tells you straight away, there's no security in Nigeria. If you can move 500 people, abduct them, in the state of the president, something is deeply wrong. First of all, they passed a message to the whole Nigerians. Secondly, I have made the statement in the past, Katsina is not a forested area. which means that because it is not a forest, if we have the most basic equipment for intel and detection, because it is vastly like semi-desert and semi-arid, there is nobody moving 50 people that you cannot know. Then we have gone to sleep on Nigerians. The president and all of his officers owe Nigerians an apology. I think that if we really look at it, it is not a matter of lack of capacity. I think there is a lack of will to address this situation, because this country is brimming. The young people alone can scatter all the terrorists in this country. Our graduates alone in NYSC, if you teach those people, if you militarize the NYSC, for instance, now, you can deploy so many at one go. They alone can deal with any of the terrorists here. But first of all, even terrorism is a different aspect. We're talking about conventional warfare. We don't even have that. Terrorists are dealt with by special SEAL teams. How is it that after 60 years of independence, you are sending policemen to go and fight terrorists? I mean, this is the country where 40,000 policemen are deployed for elections. But villages in southern Kaduna and Benue and Plateau and Taraba and Adamawa are being bombarded every day with RPG and AK-47 wielding people. You cannot ever, in any of those cases, hear that 200 policemen were sent to go and fight. But 40,000 can be deployed for Osun election, 30,000 for Ekiti elections. For elections, they can do it. But for the lives of human beings, you can't, 200 people, like they say in Hausa, Albarka. Not to talk about 1,000. If you send 1,000 people to any village, even if they are just policemen, because these guys come probably about 200 in the motorbikes. If 1,000 policemen face those guys in any village, I'm telling you, there's nowhere they're going to run to. So basically, I think that our government has not even decided to put an end to this, because when it does, the people are there, the people are willing and motivated with government support. I read all the places, Kaduna and all those places. I mean, anytime they're going to make press statements, have you noticed the number of paramilitary and military heads, immigration, customs, army, civil defense, all of them sit beside the governors when they are making press statements? And I'm wondering, where for goodness sake are the men of these units when all the mayhem we see happening? You can't even travel to Kaduna right now from Abuja, for goodness sake. You can't. I don't know the kind of shame that is to Nigeria, that Kaduna to Abuja, you can't travel safely. We all have to bundle ourselves into the train. My goodness, this is so sad and unfortunate and a disgrace to our nation.